Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Well, good news, the search for missing 4-year-old Melanie Ferguson came to a successful end on Thursday morning as local law enforcement and volunteer search teams of over 60 volunteers found Melanie, who was missing for almost 24 hours by the roadside. News 2's Janisha John brings us more details.
The prayers of a community have been answered as dozens of residents, family and friends, and local law enforcement came together to find lost 4-year-old Melanie Ferguson and bring her home.
Melanie Ferguson walked away from her home at about 10 a.m. with her 2 little Chihuahua dogs. At about 12:15, the parents called 911, and that's when police were mobilized.
Police mobilized search teams with a number of agencies and volunteers, using all-terrain vehicles and a helicopter to survey Estate Grove and surrounding areas. Despite resources, Melanie still wasn't found by Wednesday night, forcing search teams to regroup the following morning.
We put out a call to volunteers who wanted to come out and assist with the search at 6 a.m. We had about 60 people there, including police officers, again, National Guard, Civil Air Patrol, a couple of dozen volunteers.
Volunteers and law enforcement remained hopeful, breaking off into smaller groups to research the area. And just before 8 a.m., 4-year-old Melanie Ferguson was found by the roadside.
8 o'clock. She was found on the side of the road by Carambola. We want to thank everybody from the boots on the ground to social media, the radio stations, the TV stations and the newspapers who got the word out about this missing child, and we're really happy that it came out to be a great resolution.
Melanie was taken to the Juan F. Louis Hospital to be examined, and officers are currently investigating details surrounding her temporary disappearance. Meanwhile, family members are just grateful that their little girl was found.
We thank everybody that came out and support us. And without you guys, I don't know what I would have done. St. Croix is a very beautiful place with beautiful people, and my heart for you guys, and if it ever happen again, I would be there looking for your child just like how you guys was looking for mine.
Thank God for all the people that came out. The Army National Guard, the police, all the volunteers, neighbors, family, and the helicopter, and strangers that I didn't even know until now. But thank you guys so very much, and I love you. Thank you.
Janisha John, News 2.
Investigation of this case is still ongoing. However, when search teams found Melanie, she appeared unharmed with her 2 loyal dogs by her side. St. Croix has seen a second major brush fire in less than a week. On Wednesday evening, firefighters were not only battling a big one, they were preventing the fire from getting close to houses on St. Croix' North Shore between Gentle Winds condominiums and Estate Rostop Twist. On Thursday, this was the scene of the fire that was completely extinguished. Fire units left about 5:45 a.m. and firefighter investigators are now trying to determine the point of origin.
They noticed that there was a hillside on fire, not much access roads to get to the fire itself, so a lot of it was waiting down the fire to come closer where there would be more access to extinguish the fire. There were 2 units out there from East End and the Christian St. Grove base fire with a total of 6 firefighters. And it took them about 10 to 11 hours to have it completely under control. The wind conditions were southwest, and that was uphill more or less where the fire would travel faster going uphill. Where we had most of the complications also was waiting for the fire to come down on this short side of the hill slope into a valley.
Now, Deputy Chief Kent says there was a farmer with about 11 cows and a number of pigs occupying the property. He was able to free them about 1:30 a.m. Neither the cause of the fire nor the exact size of the land affected is yet known. News 2 will keep you updated. Laurel Weeks, a former acting supervisor of the Virgin Islands Lottery St. Thomas sales office, was advised of her rights Tuesday morning. A criminal investigation by the VI Department of Justice revealed that about 5 a.m. Saturday, March 13, 2010, Weeks, accompanied with an unidentified male, broke into the office, opened the vault containing lottery cash proceeds, and set fire to it. Some $60,000 cash was also missing from the vault. Weeks faces felony charges of burglary, arson, embezzlement, and grand larceny, and is scheduled to be arraigned April 4th. The St. Thomas St. John District Board of Elections met Thursday, where they outlined 3 main issues. News 2's Erica Bivens was at that meeting and brings us the details.
Although beginning about an hour late, the St. Thomas St. John Board of Election members jumped into discussion on their consent decree, specifically the Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act that requires transmittal of absentee ballots to those who qualify 45 days prior to a federal election. Board Attorney Kim Salisbury informed members their election calendar is still not in federal compliance.
Currently, deadlines set by statute, it's impossible to meet the 45-day requirement.
To comply, the board voted to recommend 5 changes to Title 18 of VI Code at their joint board meeting tomorrow. Those changes apply to the common filing date, casting of lots, withdrawal of candidates, and party emblems. Their next topic was on the status of payment for the new voting machines. However, much of that discussion focused on funding concerns.
How much monies we have available to us so that we can pay whatever these monies is that they are asking for.
No one seemed to know how much local or federal funding was available to the board. However, based on a letter from ES&S, the company providing the new EAC certified voting machines, the election system owes $230,000. The board overlapped into the next agenda item, which deals with their Have a State plan. Currently, the board is operating on their 2003 state plan because the 2009 draft was never submitted. However, the board does not have access to Have a federal funds because their St. Thomas office is still not ADA compliant.
Where are we with that? Referring that we were supposed to have a walkthrough.
Sharon Benjamin informed the board a walkthrough was conducted last Friday and that ADA compliance officer Stephanie Barnes will present an update at their joint meeting tomorrow. The board then went into executive session. A letter was also circulated at today's meeting notifying board members that Deputy Supervisor of Elections Mabel Maduro has resigned effective today. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
The Joint Board of Elections is scheduled to meet on St. Croix tomorrow at 12 noon. Well, St. Croix motorists may want to avoid Route 75 or North Shore Road for the next day or so. VINGN construction crews have been trenching in the area from the Estate St. John grocery shop and down Morningstar Road for the last several days. The road is closed to traffic. Detours are posted, but will take motorists over to the Sunny Owl area and then down Central Line Road. Residents across the territory can go to www.vingn to find out about construction updates in their area. The Virgin Islands Next Generation, meanwhile, is on schedule to complete the fiber optic ring build-out project. That's according to VINGN's President and CEO President Lawrence Kupfer, who spoke to Rotary 2 on St. Thomas. Kupfer told Rotarians during a luncheon meeting Wednesday that construction crews have started work using WAPA's underground conduits and utility poles. He says once the network is built, residents will enjoy a better quality of life with the improved efficiency of broadband services and increased job growth. Well, VI delegate to Congress Donna Christensen reacted to the election of Pope Francis, stating, "I happily join Virgin Islands Catholics in welcoming Cardinal Jorge Maria Bergoglio of Argentina, the first Jesuit and first pontiff from the Americas." Governor John P. DeYoung Jr. also shared remarks from Denmark, stating, "As Roman Catholics, we look to Pope Francis to lead the faithful all around the world and offer our prayers that he be granted the guidance necessary to confront the many challenges which await him." Monsignor Jerome Figgio says their parishes on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John will be praying this weekend for the new Pope and his task ahead, stating it's a lot of responsibility to accept the position at this time and shows his strength.
We're very delighted to have him as a Pope because he has a wealth of experiences and knowledge. His ministry focuses on the poor. Even though he has been in so many areas of the church.
Meanwhile, Pope Francis had a busy schedule on his first day as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. He returned to the Sistine Chapel to celebrate his first Mass with the cardinals who elected him this morning. The 76-year-old former Archbishop of Buenos Aires, Argentina, went to St. Mary Major Basilica. He carried flowers to the altar of the Virgin Mary and prayed in silence for 10 minutes. Afterwards, Francis collected his bags at the hotel he stayed in before the conclave and made it a point to pay his bill. Pope Francis, like his namesake, St. Francis of Assisi, is a friend of the poor. Before he introduced to the world, the new Holy Father chose to wear a simple robe and the cross he wore as cardinal. The inaugural Mass for Pope Francis takes place Tuesday in St. Peter's Square. The Vatican says no tickets are required. Everyone is invited. Well, it was round 2 today for President Obama and Republican members of Congress. Earlier this afternoon, he faced Senate Republicans after meeting yesterday with their counterparts in the House. Tara Mergen, a report from Capitol Hill.
President Obama headed back to Capitol.
Well, officials from WAPA were the guests Thursday at the St. Croix Chamber of Commerce's Business for Breakfast series. WAPA's consultant David McGowan talked about the authority's new initiative designed to help consumers manage and reduce their energy consumption. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Business owners and interested members of the community heard firsthand about a new WAPA initiative to help VI consumers lower their energy costs.
VI Energize is a unit within WAPA that we created to try to assist residents and businesses reduce their water and utility bills.
WAPA consultant David McGowan is under a 2-year contract with the authority to help them build the VI Energize Services business unit.
Mr. McGowan's role is to assist the authority in setting up this unit, putting in best practices, and assisting the authority vet vendors going forward when we create the VI Energize partnership unit.
The benefits come through energy efficiency investments to homes and businesses.
The primary thing we're trying to overcome is a trust factor for customers of WAPA that want to have lower energy bills. And we're hoping that as a facilitator of that, we've seen in many other programs in other utilities, that the utility can actually help identify what the opportunities are that a customer should be looking at.
Making sure that project works for the VI is next, as well as educating the consumer.
The next step is to make sure that the product claims, the benefits, make sense here in the VI. Everybody comes down to, is that going to be a reduction in my WAPA bill? And you, the customer, you've got to do this, this, and this in order to get those savings.
VI Energize Services is also creating a network of vendors, engineers, contractors, and lenders to assist the process.
How do I find a contractor, a service provider that's going to do it right for me? And through this VI Energize Services network, we're going to have codes of conduct, we're going to have best business practices for the Virgin Islands to help a customer say, this is how to get it done through a reputable contractor that's done it here before. I've seen it work, but every community is different. The key is making it work for the Virgin Islands.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
VI Energize officials say they hope to help assist consumers finance the energy projects through a pool of local banks. The investment is repaid through a charge on the monthly bill. The local chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, Inc. donated 2 hardcover copies of Black Nights to the Flamboyant Gardens Library Thursday. AmeriCorps volunteers started the book drive last July for the residential communities of Lutheran Social Services. Members of the Tuskegee group have regularly donated books, but wanted to do something special for VI History Month.
I thought that was a great opportunity. I went through my home and I pulled out a number of books, and I was bringing them here on a couple of occasions. And then I thought about it, just in recognition of Black History Month here of Virgin Islands history, it's a great opportunity to present the Lutheran Social Services with new books.
We are thrilled today to be the recipients of the genre of history that is so deeply connected to our islands.
The Early Childhood Advisory Committee of the Governor's Children and Families Council and the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, they're pleased to announce the availability of training that focuses on prevention of postpartum depression through teaching and enhancing mood management skills and maternal self-efficacy to mothers-to-be and mothers. The courses have started, and it's being taught by Dr. Honnelly from George Washington University and Dr. Tamar Medelson from Johns Hopkins University. This training of trainers is being offered to social workers, psychologists, counselors, nurses, physicians, home visitors, and others who work with families. Now, the last class is Friday, March 15th at the Sugar Estate Head Start building from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Well, a call for more peace in the territory will be showcased this Saturday, March 16th through the Million Steps for Peace Anti-Violence March. Virgin Islands are encouraged to participate in the Million Steps for Peace March that will start from 5 a.m. in the morning at Fort Christian and makes its way throughout various communities in St. Thomas. For those who won't be able to make it to the initial starting point, no worries. The march will have over 6 checkpoints where you are able to start your march from. The checkpoints include Antilles School, the Nada Bridge to Nowhere, Linquist Beach, Fort Milner, and Roosevelt Park. The march is being led by VI Mothers Against Guns founders Judge James Carroll and Celia Carroll.
With our participants in the community to walk around the island, going through the population centers. We're going to pray, we'll sing, and we're just going to basically express our desires for peace, as we walk through the communities of the Virgin Islands. It's 18 miles, but it's divided into 6 separate stations, or 7 actually, 7 stations, with the beginning station being 4.
And we will have more on the march in Friday's newscast. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.